you hear about the twin flame stories from people that are on saga journeys. Okay, so it's time I thought to share an actual twin flame story from an actual divine feminine. And actual because, when you stay in a restorative embodiment, so bilateral integration is capacity of your own brain, no trauma charges lingering. Let me just spell it out. Oh, I'm a 5D mystic in the Enlightenment Soul Age group. I'm a functional adult. I'm attachment trauma informed, and I got lucky as a human being. So, yes, we're going to talk about twin flames and the divine feminine. We all have, by the way, a divine feminine, divine masculine, but a divine feminine, an actual divine feminine. Yes, not the ones on Elsa's journey. The ones on Elsa's journey, they're called spiritual bypassers for divine feminine because they actually are not living spirituality. Even when they say, leave the DM to do his journey, as I that like the DM needs you to take up and take his side, and it's not a him because of it's a him, but it's a divine feminine I saw out there saying leave it alone. So everybody is jumping on a bandwagon of trending topics. I, on the other hand, want to share a story. So is it jumping on the bandwagon? It depends, because they're not going to like this story, the divine feminines on the Elsa journey, because they're going to think, what? No way, there's no drama, saga, or obsessive thinking. So I'm going to spell it out again. I got lucky. I am a spirituality process because I got born and I was in a fetus, in a womb with another human being. So look, lucky me, I got born with already having meaning and a connection beyond the solo self. Look, I can bring sciences in. Thank you, Robert Sapolsky, for your book Determined on there being no free will. That way I can share something that says, yep, it's not about any belief system whatsoever. But I got lucky also because I have Jesus that I grew up with and God. So I'm going to say I got lucky three more times. And I got lucky because I'm an inner child. That's right. I forgot. No shame. My mother, she let me be a baby and she didn't scare me. And my twin allowed me to know that repairing ruptures always, fighting like cats and dogs, you name it. So a true divine feminine doesn't lose the relationship with this lovely Akash. You know why? Because I and my body here are friends, so I don't get overwhelmed. That's why I have bilateral integration. It also means I'm just a decent human being who doesn't lie to myself about my emotions. So if I'm pissing my pants, I won't project it and say, you're a piece of shit. I mean, I might be frustrated and share that, and somebody says, I see you do think of people as pieces of shit. No, not really, but then again, I do use words. I have to, because otherwise I won't be able to share my divine femininity with you. But hey, you know what? Let me not try and make it a point to present what healthy self-worth is. Oh, yes, I will. Healthy self-worth. We did an episode on that one. It's easy to say no in my ventral vagal tone because I share life always. From the beginning of my life, I was determined with a twin. I'm going to repeat that. I have a human being that I grew up with, and I had a gazillion million fights. And look, I learned how to, no, I'm born in the family. I unconditionally love my twin, my younger sister, my mother, unconditionally. I got flaws, you got flaws, we got imperfections, we get to put up with each other, and lo and behold, I can build snowman, snow women, snow days. Oh, and I like to build the actual mer people with castles and beaches because I like the sun and happiness in the ocean and the sea when it's warm. Not cold. Don't bring me to the mountains. I don't like the mountains. You can go to the mountains. I'll be happy with the fish, like the Little Mermaid. But I like that I'm not a fish. I like to have legs and dance. Okay, so divine feminines, we don't have tragedy with our twin flame. Just FYI, the ones who do, though, let me spell it again. So we don't lose the relationship. Healthy self worth people. It's called I have a secure attachment. It's spelled out. I'm going to spell it out. I embody this. I have a nervous system like you do. I have integration in the brain, which is because my left and right mode work together. So my left is my chit chatter. My right, I'm not making this shit up from my ass. Thank you, Daniel Siegel, for teaching me about interpersonal neurobiology and all the trauma experts that I learned from. But again, if you want to be a flat earther, go be my guest. That's why I'm woo-woo pseudoscience also, because we know sciences, they don't do the mystic stuff. And I have to give it to them. I've heard enough about neuroscience. Thank you, Patrick McNamara. No demon possessing a person. Exactly how I came to understand it as I learned about what dissociative identity disorder is like and what people with borderline personality. And I can't wait for that disorder to be changed because it's not a disorder. most of what is being found in attachment trauma researchers indicate that the poor infants who were born into different families, between transgenerational trauma, cultural trauma, parents who still want to, not acknowledge that there's a better way for them to work with their embodied brain. It's not about the external, because you do want to, if your kid's going towards a stove, yell at them, but you want to repair that moment of rupture so that they don't sit like shame and they say, and people don't believe in neurobiology, biology, or neuroscience. So again, I'm lucky. I'm a divine feminine. I never got lost, because the truth is, I never forgot. Never forgot what? What, Maria? What didn't we never forget? Let's see. Let me do show and tell. And that were brothers and sisters. Thank you, God and Jesus. I learned that from my Christian Catholic church. And then when they decided to start doing what they did, said, hey, God, I think they're still in the medieval times. They don't know how to wield their own masculine. Their left mode is all over the place. In fact, their masculine energy has no feminine energy. I love this rabbi who taught me about masculine and feminine energies with the Kabbalah. Yes, they don't know Isaac, Abraham, or Jacob for that matter. And I bet you, actually, let me think. The masculine, which is consistently, yes, in a very unnecessary way, expanding without caring about the ecosystem. So that imbalance that 4D likes to talk about. Humans are nature too. So I did not forget about my divine masculine, and I have feminine here, masculine here, and the energies both. And they're really balanced. You know why? So as a restorative embodiment human being, again, I live without rupture from this beautiful sphere of Akash. So my Merkaba, my oversoul, yeah, that's why my twin flame and flames journey and soulmates, it's all amazing. I knew the minute that I began my 5D ascension journey, because I came across 5D, that I was in the right spot. Belief. Yep. Let me read. It supports our sense of self-worth based on our gifts, talents, and the strong connection to Source. Yes, Source is actually also known as by some, let's see, what is it? Yeah, that's right. That spirit be your guide. Spirit and I and you, that whole, if you are flow with humanity, thank you, Sadhguru, divinity has to descend. Yeah. It's not divinity in the way that Nietzsche wanted to describe, right? Because Nietzsche was from a time where they actually, like, oh my God, how dare he say that every superior human being will be, what was it? Comparable to God once they're free or something. So every superior human being will instinctively aspire after a secret citadel where he is set free from the crowd, the many, the majority. I wonder, what did teenagers do? I want to be different. Nobody accepts me. Nobody accepts me. And then you grow up and you figure out that they're still whining about it like that. Okay, so let's talk about worth, shall we? You don't lose it when you know that there's no magic wand necessary. That's because my embodied brain is a 3-year-old that never got fear-mongered or felt defective. Because again, I have a twin, so we're different. And I got to explain. This is why I determined that book, it's qualitative, but it's still very important, because he makes a lot of valid points. Because trauma memory, it can't be deleted. It can be minimized. So I know my first 3 years of life are implicit memory. And my happiest childhood memory is my 3 years of age. As I did a hypnotherapy session and went all the way back to that, because I lost the usage of my mouth. I was like, wow, there's only energy. And now I'm embodying it in a much more amazing way, because I love the use of language. It's amazing to know that I don't need spirit to guide me. Me and spirit are one, me and the universe and Akash, okay? But I won't use the word God, because I know God is pertaining to that 3D plane. So if they want to keep it boxed up in that separate way, I'm going to respect that. Also, I grew up with that. So I understand how institutions work. And I still believe in myself, which is why I said, hey, God, I believe in you. But I believe that people don't know that they're not being humble anymore. And their grandiosity tells me they haven't transformed into a butterfly. They haven't even gotten out of the cocoon. They got torture in their body, and they're not going to get good therapy. And they're pulling the wool over the eyes of the inner children that are not grown-ups yet. So the ones who think that they're on some journey with twin flames, we're going to leave those alone to the 4D plane. Because yes, they're leading the way for the ones who don't want to become independent lovers. I'm here for the independent lovers. So you want to take a lead? Come and join us. We do not act as if we were one of a kind, like teenagers. Oh, no, we are now in the present moment, always acting. Look how beautiful. Look, I'm different. So are you from here, okay? But that requires you to be here. And that's integration of the brain. Default mode network activated, on. And I was surprised when I heard somebody say, but you can't always be on. Like when the Zen master says, you cannot always be an enlightenment person because you got laundry in your body. And it's like, wait a minute. I think these people, they don't have a relationship with their emotional plane. I think they need Daniel Siegel, Peter Levine. I think they need Patrick Tiahan. I think they need to do some more EMDR, child parts work, and somatics. But I think that they don't want to. They don't want to learn about healthy boundaries. No, no, they don't want to learn how to use their left mode and not be in rumination. Okay, so here's the deal about the twin flame. There's no rumination if you own your brain and your emotional plane, which is what the divine feminines, who are in my book not divine feminines, because they're using their amygdala, they're using the imagination in the amygdala, and they're using ancient stories of demons and devils and energy vampires in competition with the divine feminine on the journey, divine masculine not awoke, and the consistency of a monoamorous community, by the way, which doesn't know anything about conversion or about like what it means to be people. So they're using a story, which makes me think of structural dissociation, which is why they don't get home to their 1 year old to see themselves, to soothe their nervous system, then to say, oh, look, it's safe to be me. Oh, and it's secure. I'm a securely attached person. Oh, I don't need to be on Elsa's journey. I have a 3 year old like anybody else. Let me go to my trauma charges. So we all have child parts. I learned about this in my attachment trauma course and I thought about it. I'm like, my 16-year old, she comes up every now and then. My 3 year old, yes, with my mother and my twin. The only two people who you'll ever see me with a tone in a specific way, or if I don't like you. In a way that is you hear the story from today, you're gonna see yes, I'm still I'm gonna leave it to the side, but I know what happens when I don't like someone. I'm gonna put the chameleon. I learned as a teenager, none of us can hide anything about ourselves. We're an embodied brain. So I did get taught, thank you God, to be humble. And the song, if you can't say something nice, just say nothing. Okay, so I like to take a lead. I like challenges when they're presented to me. I don't have trauma memory because I'm not an insecure person. I can be a smartass. That's my teenager, like anybody else. But I thought about it. Do I want to be a mean smartass? No, not really. I don't want to deal with maladaptive children behavior because Cuscos are really boring for Pachas. And it's not fun for Divine Feminine. I like to have nice and fun relationships. I like to be with people who believe in themselves and they act like squirrels. And so we have compersion. That's why my polyamory community. Come on over. Okay, so here's the story of a Divine Feminine. Oh, we love our twin flames, and soulmates. Even if we don't know everything that's going to happen, we know it's going to be a fun all ride because no matter what you're going to bring to town, you're part of my oversoul, like brothers and sisters. Humanity. I'm not a misanthropist. I love humans. I am a human. It sounds ridiculous whenever I have to say it, but what I've told people is I say it because since I was a teenager, people keep shitting on humans, and I keep reminding them, you're a human too. You do know that, right? You shit on yourself every time you talk shit about a human being. No, you're exaggerating. Am I? I wonder. I wonder if I am. But you know what? I'm not going to wonder because I'm not in your brain and I don't want to be in your brain. I love my brain because my brain is nice, curious, open, accepting, and loving. And I will not be acting as if I'm happy. I literally am. And every time I have to hear somebody say, people who smile, toxic positivity, I'm thinking, wow, some people really don't know how to take attachment, trauma information, and get it going. Oh, that's right. I don't want to do personal development. So, all the people who whine about emotions, I'm a 3 year old. I love emotions and all of them. But no, I won't go around to the people who will be scary, mean, and any of those horrible horror shows. No, no, not because I can't. I don't want my nervous system to be in that because, I do know I have 24 hours. And guess what I want to do in 24 hours? So is that me avoiding emotions that I don't need to engage in? Yeah, because, our ancestors had those emotions because they lived in the wild in a certain way. No, not in a certain way. They lived in the wild. I don't. I live in a city. I choose a home. I'm okay with it. I'm in 2024. The fact that people actually still don't recognize how to be in the now is beyond me. I just know how to say, I love being in 2024. So, a divine feminine story with our divine masculines, we're choice points. We know that we're choice points. I'm going to speak to you, you're going to speak to me, and that's how it works. That's it. I'm not going to be in limerence. I'm not going to ruminate. I'm not going to cry over spilt milk. I won't have regrets. I won't go through dark night of the soul or ego death in the way that you keep hearing Elsa Journey people doing they don't know how to harness their own inner world. In fact, they always tell me about their third eye being blocked as witches from the past. And I'm like, oh, wait, that's right. They're not doing interpersonal growth or emotional growth. Oh, look, they're the squirrels from Cusco town. I think the love dependent people need to hear about what it means to be a manipulative, desperate human being, man, woman, or they be. Or the controlling anger one who goes and says, I know everything about you because I have clairs. I can see. And whenever women have brought it to me, I'm like, you don't know that. You are picking up something behind the scenes, you're interpreting it, and you're bringing it to somebody. And if your amygdala is all over it, you're dumbed down by anger because certainty is going on and with your little story, and you haven't taken a breath like I just now to just say, shh. Oh, wait, I'm angry and upset. I'm projecting my shittiness on another person who might want me, might not. Who cares if they're a twin flame or not a twin flame? How am I doing right now? Am I having fun? Okay, so when people are from what? Desperate Housewives, Mean Girls, tragic, opera, drama, that's all dysfunctional, dysregulated nervous system stuff. Thank you, Patrick Jehan. That's martyrs and superiors and blamers. They keep on hanging out with those that remind them of their own home, and lo and behold, the childhood trauma survivors that go to Patrick, they are a minority, Patrick. Don't worry, we're going to get them over there as soon as they hear about how easy twin flame journey is for a divine feminine. Because I have my 1 year old, again, I got lucky. Twin, mother, secure attachment, happy emotions. Doesn't mean I don't have the other emotions, but I live in 2024, not in an action movie and not in some tragedy and not in some, but there's all these criminals out there, Maria. Yes, there's a scale of evil, and there's police, and then there's laws, and there's governments, and there's all these things that I told people as I got older. And there's also the real world, yes, which is I'm not going to go out by myself because I am a 4'9" woman and I'm not upset about it. I'm just going to think practical. 24 hours. How can I make a bigger difference? Okay, yes, yes, yes. How will I avoid getting killed so that I can keep making a difference or work in the world and be. Yes, okay. And how can I help improve society? I'm going to go and do what everybody else does vote, talk about things, try and get professionals who take on those jobs to get expertise in their brain. Because, what I've noticed is that, well, the 7 to 14 charming, yeah, the grandiosity people that I told God about, yeah, they're all there. And you know what, though? There's the shame people that I was talking about. You guess who's their hero? Oh, yeah, the superhero and supervillains. That's separation consciousness for you. So as long as you got some group that thinks they need to be superheroes because they're fighting some supervillain, which I love movies, don't get me wrong. I used to, not anymore. Sadhguru awakened me to the sad truth of even our action heroes don't do anything of interest because they cut each other up, and it's like, wait a minute, that's true. Man, now I can only use cartoons because at least those are cartoons. They can maybe educate, which is what we use here at IHP. So Pinocchio's with ears and tails, Cusco's out there in squirrels. I'm a Pacha personally, and so is the 5D Collective. And so, yeah, with our twin flames, nobody does anything that requires some dramatic saga to go on. And oh, yes, your meaning and purpose. I'm so sorry. I forgot about that. Let me think. Anyone want to get their 1 year old back? Because I would say it's really fun when you can see your own nervous system. You can soothe it. You can secure it safely be yourself, not act as if I'm just being Maria right now and say, yeah, this is me. You don't like me? Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know friendship, relationships were a must. I'm pretty sure they are called extras. For those of us who don't feel lonely inside because we've never been alone. So, yeah, for me, I always have beyond a solo self in the womb. Again, determined, trauma memory. It can't be deleted, it can only be minimized. I will remember. I was born a preemie. The umbilical cord was wrapped around my neck. I was moving around like a little snake, is what they said. Oh, look, maybe, who knows, that energy body, yeah? So here's the deal when someone's really happy and can integrate spirituality and sciences, I had to wait to be sure that I knew what I was talking about when I was saying, hey, you can be you. Because you know how many people said, no, Maria, why would I want to be me? Oh, wow. How do I tell somebody they hate themselves? That's not nice. I'm going to get punched in my face because the same thing with humans. It happened. And no, we don't. It's only everybody else, not me. Really? You don't think that by saying you hate humans, you're saying you hate yourself. You don't know what a mirror is, do you? Let me think. Words, they do matter, but we can't get it always right. I say a lot of words that I don't mean. That's why my friend called me a hypocrite. my friend that I had called a hypocrite, and he is a hypocrite because he walks a walk and doesn't talk a talk. He's inconsistent. I, on the other hand, walk a walk, talk a talk, but it's because I can bring in this and that, which is, by the way, of the Enlightenment Soul Age group. It's because my right mode and my left mode, they work together. So I'm not using the left to try and say, oh, I'm going to have to prove it. No, because I am soft and easygoing when I'm in my brain with uncertainty, unwanted, and the unknown. That's the main modules of the inner growth mindset. And I didn't realize that it's the analogical right mode. This is thanks to Daniel Siegel that now I know which side of the brain I use more often. And you know what's nice about meeting divine masculines is that you do get to compare notes together. And then you get to figure out, thanks to neuroscience, how you do complement each other. So it doesn't have to be a man or a woman, but there is a brain and there is a way a brain is made. And what I understood from neuroscience that I looked into, I only have the gist of it though, is the capacity for the human being, physiologically speaking, man brain, and my divine masculines are all men. Don't forget there are divine feminines who are men. So okay, and theys, I don't know theys personally, but long story short, the saga people, if you need a good twin flame coach, I know where to send you. If you're one of me, come on over and have fun, because nobody's waiting around for anyone. We all have things to get doing, and our divine masculines are just fine and dandy without anybody ever needing to say, guess what you are. So I haven't told any of my twin flames who they are, and I don't plan on. They're not in the mysticism plane. They completely do not believe in any of it. I'm the woo lady. So there's that, and it's really fun though to actually know of the lifetimes that you have with these people and to know you can't prove it. So divine feminine, we're not having some fucking saga on our mystical journey. Come on over, 5D mystic divine feminine, so you don't have to spend time in the la la land of whatever 4D is going to keep doing. I really don't know. But in the meantime, over here, though, it's emotional lifting, remember, and self regulation. So we don't go around shitting on people. And the divine masculine doesn't need us to say, hey, leave him alone and leave him alone to do his thing. Because really, that's not how it works. We need all people, all hands on deck to want to be their securely attached person. That way they can get heaven in their body to the extent that they can. Because, okay, so serious note. I was getting somewhere before. What was it about? I forgot. But long story short, those who do have shame, blame, fault, revenge, those who do have shame stuff from trauma, before they can be having fun and be happy, they need to have people that are safe, haven, secure bases, which is where I'm at, because I'm a securely attached person. I'll tell you what I think about you in your face. And if you don't like me, no. If I don't like you, if you don't like me, I might cry about it, then I'll get over it. If I don't like you, I will let you know to the best of my ability in ways that I'll be explanatory. And if you corner me in a way of saying you're just sharing with me and showing me that you don't like me and you really don't want to let it go, at a certain point I'm going to be like, yeah, you know what? I don't. It's not because it's you and it's not because it's me. It's incompatibility. And I'm not trying to make it personal, but I get it. You're making it personal because it is personal. You feel like I'm giving you an F on a report card, and that's not what it is. You're worthy. You're just not my type of candy. I don't know how many different ways I can explain it to you that I and you don't jive. And it's not personal because you will have somebody who jives with you. It's called I'm imperfect and flawed, and so are you. And I don't have fun with you. And how many different ways do you want me to tell you? I'll keep repeating it. So I have one of my friends, you know about this story from my listeners. So my friend, every now and then, he'll get insecure. It's the big man baby child because I don't want to hang out with him because I can't handle more than a couple hours with him because his mouth just starts going. Like some people can't handle the divine feminine because we'll go around and around until, and we can keep going. And I get it. That's why I don't take it personally if somebody says, okay, enough, Maria, I need to go. And I actually try to say, hey, let me know if it's enough because I know I can keep going and have fun like this. Okay, so I will easily say, I can't hear you. So my friend knows that I tune him out because he's like a little machine. You know those little typing machines? This is exactly the first time this person and I were near each other and I had one conversation. It felt like a machine in my brain. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get out. This is so painful. I'm having such a painful time, but I couldn't be rude. And so as I leave and I go about my business, family says, be nice. This is a nice person. I know you. Don't be mean and picky. And I'm like, but, no. You hang out with all the crap of the crop. You're going to hang out with him too. So I got lectured. about my attitude. I said, fine, fine, fine. And so I said, okay, here's my compromise. Look, dude, I'm your friend because that person told me to be your friend and I can't handle you. So this is how it's going to work. And as we move forward in our tango, my friend every now and then gets insecure. So he says, you do know I'm smart, right? That I know things because I will not have conversations with him because he has a facade. So see, when Pachas meet Cuscos, this is information that is not information. It's regurgitation, and it has nothing to do with twin flames right now. Right now, this is a random share about how a self-empowered 5D mystic enlightenment, yeah, blah blah, the whole spiel. Okay, so, and it's important to keep those words in that order. Remember, because I'm the woo-woo pseudoscience lady, but also because you can't be in the enlightenment soul age group. It's AKA a restorative embodiment. I'm not a genius. I'm a stupid lady. That way you can understand how to do, for those of you who want to. It's not some special little wand. No, it's very straightforward. But your first 3 years of life, very important. Your 7 to 8 too, the 3 to 7 actually to 8, and all of your childhood, all of it. Okay, so this is very important because people who need to be reminded that you can be here, but some have hell in their body. It's only if you want to get out of hell. And we read about the tough part of the emotional disconnect. Okay, so I'm being serious. We take seriously, I do, healing trauma for those who want to do the emotional lifting. So teaching healthy boundaries to those who already should know, could know, the secure attachment is all great and dandy. And then the ones who are wanting to be in these types of relationships, they're going to be over here, not on eggshells, yelling and telling us what words to use or not to use and doing what, random Venuses and goddesses of May with their stereotypes or the twin flame stereotypes. So I don't make it serious, but I make it somewhat serious, meaning limerence, rumination. Again, the twin flame, it's not a saga if you own your brain. Now, if you don't own your brain, well, then we want EMDR child parts work and somatics so you can stop doing a karma wheel called your childhood unfinished business. So this whole thing of you have a spirituality awakening, you have your twin flame, it will be home. This is true. You're going to be at home. Well, now let me ask you, what was your home like? So, guess what happens? If my home is safe, and I'm a 0 1 year old, and I have secure attachment, and I'm a functional adult, and I have no insecurities, but let me say your home has insecurities. So, I get to sing my song, twin flame or not, and you will only sing your song whenever it is you get home to yourself. And I won't be able to do anything about that because I can't help you delight in yourself if you don't have room to talk to yourself in a way that's self-loving and compassionate. If I've already done it and you're projecting shit at me and you're running from a securely attached connection, well, there you go. So the divine feminine won't be losing sleep over their divine masculine because we have things to do in life. It's called living with the living. And here's what the divine feminines of 4D land do. Maria, I want to go fuck and I want to have family and I want to do things. I don't want to wait for anyone. You're not supposed to wait for anyone, and you can do whatever you want, but you're bringing it to me because you're divine masculine and masculines aren't around. So that tells me that you're in a state of still grieving and not healing, and you're distracting. You're distracting yourself from what you just told me. I want to go do this shit so I don't have to have this shit happening. And it's like, okay, so you're not seeing your shit, huh? Okay, that's called I'm going to suppress the shit, build more on top of it. And there's that karma. Then you're going to find yourself, lo and behold, 3 to 4 years later, look at what this horrible human being did to me. Really, really. Are we sure that it's the horrible human being that did stuff to you? Or did you get engaged in an unfinished business situation because you didn't want to face your twin flame leaving, twin flames, whatever, and do the inner work? So you better bet there's 1, 2, 3, 4, if not 5 of these lovely with their third eye blocked. They call themselves divine feminines. Now they know that they also have a divine masculine, and that's because of time passing and people figuring it out. And I did not actually think of divine masculine or divine feminine any other way except for how I began to learn about it. But it made a lot of sense when I understood we have both. So, long story short, we don't get lost, divine feminines, in a tragedy. We don't need saga because that's for the people who live dysregulated, dysfunctional, codependent type relationships because they're not getting there's your 1-year-old to be seen, to be soothed, to be safe and secure from their own brain. Oh, look, I'm Maria. I'm imperfect and flawed. Somebody gonna want me? Who knows? We'll find out. Are you lonely? No, I'm not. Why? Well, I got lucky. I was never lonely, so I don't know loneliness, not even a little bit. But what I do know is people who do have it, they can work to get out of it with their left mode and their right mode and with safe connections. But they have to put their best foot forward. So if they're being, I don't want to do it because I feel lonely and I want to sit in my bored biochemistry because it's not the mindset, it's not the thoughts, it's the body. You're not helping yourself. Trauma memory can't be deleted, can be minimized. Guess whose window of tolerance just came out of the window and nobody wants to do? Is anybody home? Knock, knock. Where's the owner of the body? Oh, look, your ego, you don't want to tend to it. I see. You want to be a divine feminine with a magical star, but you don't want to tend to this. And you want to tell me that. So it's very straightforward for a human being to explain how divine feminines, we don't lose the connection with source, Akash. Really, again, as I moved forward in 5D land, I began to realize not only that the 4D uses the word source, universe, and so on and so forth as if it's God, which I totally don't do because the minute I had clairs, I knew I'm not going to be welcomed by all of the people of my faith. I love my faith. I love Jesus. I love my upbringing, but I'm a rational person and I understand what it means when another state of consciousness, meaning another human being, thinks that yoga brings demons out of you because they don't have attachment trauma information. They don't believe in it. They don't believe in neuroscientist Patrick McNamara and how he shares there's a fear receptor in your brain and nobody gets demonically possessed like the 4D who keep calling people energy vampires and dark auras. And I'm the flat earther? No, I'm not. That's why I'm the woo-woo lady. So as long as there's ignorance out there, I know that I can use words however I may want, but I also know that there are words that I cannot, no, I won't use. I won't use. So when 4D, I became clear that they were using this word source and universe and spirit as if it were the very entity that I learned about and that I do understand that I would never compare myself to a god or gods or any of that. That word in and of itself is like Nietzsche's book on the whole superhuman. If you need to add an adjective in front of your name in an effort to think, no, you want to feel better, then I know you don't know how to be you. From here, it means you need to feel grandiose, which automatically tells me you have low self-esteem, divine masculine, feminine. It doesn't matter what you are. If you need to add a word in front of your name that describes a descriptive, it means to me that your simple self is not good enough for you. That's all I need to know you don't have healthy self-worth, which is why people tell you self-love is a myth. They don't even know how to love themselves, which is why they look like prancing unicorns. And that's why there's 4D land, by the way, because those same people will be like, no, 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 you need to look proper and good and all these things. And some of us, we understand. Again, I understand. Let me leave it alone. Let them keep on prancing around because, teenagers and movies like Mean Girls and Hangover, they're all having fun thinking they're from the stars. So here's where let spirit be your guide. One of the most amazing things when you know the truth as a divine feminine is that no one's your guide. And that's because you're your own brain thinking in a prefrontal cortex. So when you're grounded in your humanity, again, you support your own sense of self-worth because I don't have gifts and talents. I'm a human like anybody else. I'm a decent human. That's it. My strong connection to source is that I know that you're a person if I'm going to look at you in the face. And however you're going to treat me, I got posed as a child. A couple of things. Thank you, mother. Thank you, twin. Thank you, my younger sister. But my twin and my mother obviously are the ones who got me tangoing with the spirituality of having a meaning of life beyond the solo self and to share space. And then the lovely song, if you can't say something nice, say nothing. And then God with the humble, no envy. I made you the way I want. Jesus, forgive them for they do not know. So all those childhood moments, so we can put it in belief system. Of course we can. I love, in fact, one of my biggest discussions, a healthy conflict, one can talk about that one, with my teenage boyfriend, was the minute he told me that I had faith because I was afraid of death, which I didn't like. I still don't like the fact that I will die. I know my future. I smiled when I found out my future. And then when I found out who's in my future, and those are gifts. Now, see, it's one thing. A divine feminine, I will have to share this as we could. because we remember so much, it's true. We forget that life can surprise us. And I'm going to admit it. I'm going to admit I was surprised very few times. Flames, yes and no. Soulmates. Soulmates, totally yes. My soulmates are what I expected the least. And that is because our twin flames, they take over the entirety of whatever it is you're doing, if you will, in the most magical of ways. But it's in this it's like having a hand, okay? So if they take off a finger, you're going to feel that you still have that fifth finger. And so you're processing an array of there's more in the story than I can share right now. But my point is, it's part of you. They're part of you. They're part of you, part of you. So you will have that. And because you're a divine feminine, you don't have questions. You always remember. So you remember that you don't know everything. And that's why, as I was saying, if I have to say who has surprised me, it's my soulmates. And they're the ones who have gotten the presence of me in the now, not the twin flames. The twin flames are part of the journey and the story. They're surprising, yes, but up to a certain extent because it's intuitive that you're going to already know that your choice points for each other. And that's why you're always walking a path together. It's funny. It's always a linear line, at least for the established, empowered divine feminines. Okay, so we don't have ups and downs because we know what's happening as it's happening. We know how much we know how much we don't know. And then when you meet soulmates, you are pretty clear on everything you know, with clairs, that is. So I'm talking about our oversoul and what we have. Oh, and relationships. Yeah, we intuitively already know who are soulmates, who are soul me. We don't have questions. We don't need guides. Divine feminine, who is with oneness here, we don't have a question. But that's actually why the soulmates surprise you. So the divine masculine soulmates, they bring a lot of things to the table, and the stuff that they have mostly brought in my book, for example, is how to consistently know one, that I'm my own guide, as I am, and any one of you, once you reach that connectedness with Akash, you can sing your own song, and you get to be your own self. And you do take the lead, but not as a princess on a storyboard. It's just you get to be in your prefrontal cortex and have self-love first, and then everything else. So on that note, it's not a tragedy for divine feminines that are in the 5D land. For the 4D, it's a different story. 5D, we will know what we know, we'll know what we don't know, and we'll know when we get surprised. And then you try to keep that in mind. So it's with soulmates that I try to just take steps back and say, okay, remember, you don't know everything. Let life surprise you. It's like, yeah, but how many ways can it surprise me? Well, you never know. You never know, because those downloads, they keep coming. We'll have some episodes. My 5D Mystic Divine Feminines, come on over. Divine Masculines, they usually have no idea about any of this stuff unless they become their own Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine, which it's too soon to tell you anything about that because we had another big buttload of energy and stuff like that. So I will allow surprises to unfold. You will be knowing if there are divine masculines who say, hey, I'm in the mystic plane now. Here, let me tell you all about my story. And we'll be like, okay, come on over. Tell your story, divine masculines. But up till date, here, we'll do a couple minutes. Up till date, what I have for you about divine masculines from other divine feminines, their stories, that their divine masculines don't know anything about Merkaba, mysticism, none of it. So it confirms what I was already saying, which is why we won't present it in the first place, because it's something special to be a mystic. And why would I tell somebody who doesn't understand the beauty of it? So there's no point in sharing our stories with people who are going to make laughter out of something that is meaningful. And while for me, I know sciences, neuroscience, neurobiology, they can explain our relational field. They can explain why we connect to each other. So on a physiological level, I definitely know that the ones of you who, like me, have had your life, past lives, present lives, no, past and future. So there's things that too much to talk about, but yeah, it's not in any way, shape, or form destabilizing. But I'm grounded in my humanity. Again, I have secure attachment. So clairs are easy to pick up. So is telepathy, and there's this thing that took place at a certain point. I was like, wow, as you're living these things, because for me, there were no 5D mystics. That's why I'm sharing these stories so that people who want, they can come over here, ask questions. Again, there's the paid, but there's also curiosity. If it's not for a personal situation that you want advice, columnist type advice, okay? Subjective experience advice. So you're just curious about a topic. You say, hey, Maria, tell the story about blah, whatever it is. You want a story? I'll tell you whatever experiences I can. I can even use my imagination. But what I was trying to get to is that there's so many different things that you get to experience. And while you're living them, you won't know until you're after the fact some of the things of what was actually taking place. And it's just this intricate web of subconscious and conscious. And so it's personal. But those who are on the other end of the spectrum, they are not necessarily participant in any shape or form or way. Okay, so here's where if they're open to themselves and they're open to you, then you have a different way that you can go about. So that's divine masculines, divine feminines, all of it. But typically, I've found that people who are divine masculines, with their masculine alone, they don't really have room for their inner child yet. They're not even whole. Divine feminines just think, the ones that are in 40, that they know everything because it clears, and they talk about people as energy vampires, dark auras. They use words, covert narcissists, narcissism. The martyr superiors is what I call them. They're squirrels. They think they know everything because they are consistently with a blocked third eye. They don't do interpersonal intelligence. They don't grow up. They don't do any of it. They're Elsa Journey with a little star. And so anything that you read, by the way, for 4D, it'll be as straightforward as it gets because they are solidifying their bandwidth of choice. I consistently don't want to bring that forth because I'm in favor and I know of infinite higher human conscious potential, but there are those individuals who are consistently choosing not to do the introspection, the intrapersonal, the 0 1 year old, to get a hold of their own inner world and the first year of their life as a person. I'm not talking about the other stuff. Getting your window of tolerance to a window welcome for your emotional plane, which is why we have Zen masters who are out there saying you cannot be enlightened, for the people who need to hear that. He's out there for the people who need to hear, yeah, see, you got laundry in your body. You can't always be on. You can't always be in a state of love. Yes, you can, because it's not about the one emotion. It's about you being a securely attached restorative embodiment of you. That's all this is. It's about you having integration of brain. So you can always be in oxytocin gene love hormone because it's a state of your body, embodied brain. Here it is right here. Sadhguru talks about it as wine in his body. He doesn't have the psych education. I do because I'm attachment trauma informed. So divine feminine, again, we will know that we know pretty much everything, which is why we'll be surprised. And we'll be surprised in the most special of ways. And it's makes sense why it's the soulmates that surprise us. Because again, the twin flames are part of us. And we like to butt heads in a certain way that will create a lovely growing. We won't put anyone on a pedestal. I've seen many divine feminines put their twin flames on a... Yes, nobody gets on a pedestal unless you're an inner child who doesn't know how to be your own self. And nobody gets squished down either, which I've also seen. And nobody goes around telling other people what to do with their twin flame journey. So when I see that, I'm like, oh, look, there's another bandwagon person. The coaches for those who do need it, they're out there. And the good ones actually help you to actually move into being yourself. So we'll leave that for some other time. In the meantime, I, again, love my divine feminine, divine masculine story, my twin flames, soulmates. It's all fun. And the funny part is just how far back my relationships go. I'm 44, and the polyamory community, it's really nice. I didn't have the word as a teenager, but might as well have had it. And it's really just funny as you get older to see things and know things and learn of things. And then with this mystic stuff, again, that's why it's for somebody like me, woo woo pseudoscience lady, not just about the sciences. But I'm okay with, even if I have to integrate only the sciences stuff in the relational field and what I'm learning about as I keep doing those lovely courses, I'm okay with that too, because it's not taking away from the experience of being a person who has a relationship with this sphere, with your own oversoul, with your own divine masculine, and where's our lovely divine feminine? Right here, and remembering that we're all a human spirit body, we're all a human in here, and to believe in yourself and to have faith in a way that doesn't have to involve any of those from the 3D, 4D. Okay, so let us wait. You know what? I'm actually going to use these ones. Let us remember that we all can support healing of trauma for those who do want to, because that is reality. A lot more than any saga story. So, a temple, the path, spirituality is living a life of meaning and connection beyond the solo self. So any person who's a divine feminine will know this, which is why we don't talk about human beings as pieces of shit. The star babies are the only ones who talk about people, men, women, any human being as a piece of shit for real, where they think that they actively can point a finger and cast a stone and judge a book by its cover versus learn about attachment and trauma information. I got to be here. Thank you, Jesus and God and humbleness and mom and all that. Decent human being, attachment, trauma information just gives me the capacity to tell you how it wasn't hard to remember, like Pacha tells Cusco, I have a heart and you have a heart. I believe in you to be yourself. I believe in me to be me. I have healthy boundaries. I won't lie. And that's because I don't need to. You can call me whatever names you want. I know I'm being myself. Are you? And if you're a Cusco, I'll know you're a Cusco, but don't worry. I'll know why you're a Cusco. So again, we don't get lost, and nobody is saving anyone, which is where 4D's at, which is why we got people telling, leave the divine masculine alone. Oh, come on over here, your divine masculine's not awake. Oh, look, guess what happened to me today? Oh, I want to go and do this. Why aren't they doing that? And the last tragic note is, ah, why? Why does love have to be tragedy? If only they knew of Stephen Porges and his wife, who were going to write a book about what true love actually is, which is when you and I can be securely attached inside here, because that means I'm fully intimate with myself, and then I can love you too, because I already love me. Yeah. And if you can't, then you won't be able to love me yet. I'll know you're a Cusco. It's okay, though. I'll say I'm a Pacha. I mean it. I love, like the Rumi quote, from my heart, and so does any other person. Divine feminine, divine masculine. Like I said, a true divine feminine, in my book, will be a person who consistently nurtures. That's what a feminine energy does. So we will be able to embrace and to take all of those masculine energies and make something out of it without ever getting lost. Ever. I mean, never say never. I'm 44 though, so from the beginning of my time, at least in this 0 to 44 years, I didn't get lost. My name's Maria. Who are you? Nice to meet you. And I'm a choice point, and so are you. And so here's where those three personalities, that lovely rabbi. So Isaac, inner oriented, me, 3-year-old. And then Abraham, other oriented, okay, other twin, other people. And then Jacob, objective orientation. And let me think, neither you nor me. Can we work it out? Head, heart, body. Can we work it out? I wonder. Do you know how to be a securely attached person? Is the question. Do you know healthy self worth? Does that mean you know that magic works only through you and that nobody can be you? So you know how to share, because that's what compersion is all about, and not being somebody who actually doesn't know that the fun of life is the mystery it brings, that we walk a path together. We can always walk a path together, masculine, feminine energies. We have both. You have both. And when they're not together for the twin flames, they can be, but there's no need for rumination, limerence, or any tragedy to go on. So again, come on back over if you want more stories, and have a wonderful day.